America's Heartland is made possible by the United Soybean Board, whose Common Ground program creates conversations to help consumers get the facts about farming and food. There's more at findourcommonground.com. The American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture, dedicated to building greater awareness and understanding of agriculture through education and engagement. More information at agfoundation.org. Farm Credit, financing agriculture and rural America since 1916. Farm Credit is cooperatively owned by America's farmers and ranchers. Learn more at farmcredit.com. The Fund for Agriculture Education, a fund created by KBIE to support America's Heartland programming. Contributors include the following.
Hi, I'm Kristen Samos. Come along as we take you on a livestock roundup. We'll travel the wide open spaces of Montana with a rancher who's moving thousands of sheep from summer pasture to winter grazing land.
Hi, I'm Jason Schultz. When your farming operation is directly tied to the housing market or retail sales, a bumpy economy can put you out of business. Coming up, I'll introduce you to an Alabama farmer who's working to keep his business alive and defying the odds.
I'm Sarah Gardner. We're off to New England this time for a sweet story on juicy red apples. We'll meet a New Hampshire farming family whose orchards date back more than a century.
I'm Rob Stewart, and we're taking you to Arkansas for a soybean harvest story. You're going to meet a family whose investment in technology is helping to keep food costs down for you. That's all coming up next, right here on America's Heartland.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand. In America's heartland, living close to the land.
If you're a livestock rancher, tending the stock can be a 24-hour-a-day job. And here in Montana, for one ranching family, it also means they have to do a little traveling in caring for their flock.
It's a beautiful place to spend your summer.
John Helly knows this part of the country very well.
I can remember as a kid coming in here with my grandfather, and then with my father, and now to bring my family.
John is a third-generation sheep rancher. Each year, John and his family will spend a week both at the beginning and the end of summer herding thousands of lambs and ewes. This part of the sheep drive will take the animals across 40 miles of rugged terrain in Montana's gravelly mountain range. The 5-day journey has John and other family members on horseback, moving the sheep from summer pasture to fall and winter grazing.
Well, it's just a form of camping out in a wilderness situation. It's the quiet and the solitude and just being able to enjoy being away from the rat race of the cities and towns.
But managing the family's livestock involves more than just the roundup. Cayo is one of the Peruvian herders hired to oversee the grazing animals. He calls this tin-roofed caravan home during his time in the mountains.
It's quite a nomadic type job, and it takes a special person to do it. And we just really love our Peruvian herders that we have and how valuable they are to our operation.
This is a pretty good operation. How many sheep do you have, and what does that entail? Describe to me how you get them all from point A to...
Well, they're in 4 separate bands, and there's 4 separate allotments up here, and there's no fences. They're herded by a sheep herder, and he'll have dogs and guard dogs and working dogs and 2 horses and a camp, and he'll have an allotment, which is an area that is specific for that band of sheep. Predators are a big challenge too. There's bears in all these little groves of trees up here, and then the sheep go in them during the day to shade up, and the bears are in there, but the guard dogs do real well against bears.
Evan Helly's summer has been focused on helping his dad with the sheep.
He's taught me a lot about you got to get the job done, and once you can get the job done, you can finish. And there's a lot of people don't understand that it's up as soon as the light is up, and then we're done as soon as it's dark.
And on this drive, school had just begun again for Evan. It was days on horseback and evenings doing homework. The Helly's herd will be sold for both meat and wool. The wool goes to markets in Italy, India, Mexico, and China. Some of the fabric is fashioned into uniforms for American servicemen and women.
They're a big consumer of American wool, and we've worked with them in providing specific combat uniform products, like just like the t-shirt that I'm wearing today. It's 100% wool. We really take a lot of pride in our livestock that we raise, and we want to make sure that people know that we raise them in a very sustainable and healthy way. And we want that image and that very wholesome product brought back to the consumer, that what better way to raise lamb than up here in these mountains and on fresh natural feeds. And we love our product too.
But it's not all work on their yearly drives. The Helly's view their wilderness trek as a family reunion.
The burritos will be a treat, I hope.
Spending their evenings enjoying some of Grandma's home cooking.
They're really hungry, so they enjoy the good cooking. They enjoy whatever you prepare, really.
You guys always eat this well when you're out here?
Oh, when we have a cook.
It's great when Grandma can come up and cook. I remember cooking for crews when we're doing different things ever since I was little. And she would always be in the camper cooking up a great big meal for us. And she says it's like herding cats. It's when we try to help cook.
Little has changed in the decades that the Helly's have been raising sheep, keeping alive a tradition that binds the generations together.
Like any family business, it's real rewarding to be able to work with your family.
Well, I'm planning on coming back and running the ranch. This is just the one thing that I love to do, and I can't see myself doing anything else.
On average, ranchers will get about 8 pounds of wool from each sheep during shearing season and call it Wool Goes to Washington. President Woodrow Wilson grazed sheep on the White House lawn during World War I. They not only trimmed the grass, their wool was auctioned off with the proceeds going to the American Red Cross.
Whether it's a farmer's market or the produce section of your favorite grocery store, apples are one of the most popular fruits in the world. After all, who doesn't love applesauce, apple fritters, apple pie, or apple cider? Well, here in New Hampshire, apples are also a major part of an historic harvest.
From Gravenstein to Golden Delicious, Macintosh to Macoun, with 40 different varieties, this may well be New England's epicenter of apples. Welcome to Applecrest Farms in New Hampshire. On this brilliant fall weekend, thousands of apple lovers are gathering to enjoy some guitar and banjo picking, then heading to the orchards to do a little picking of their own.
Go slow, pick the good ones.
It's become a tradition for hundreds of families throughout New England.
I've been doing it for years, and it's a blast. I'm coming here since I was a kid, so it's always fun, just a good time.
This is actually my third time here.
And this is my first time for riding a pony.
From pony rides to pumpkins to pie eating contests, to stuffing your face with roasted corn on the cob or stuffing a scarecrow. It's all part of the yearly Applecrest Fall Festival, an event dating back nearly 4 decades.
This is just such a typical New England event to go apple picking, you know. I love it.
This land that you see has been farmed for hundreds of years.
Todd Wagner grew up on Applecrest Farms. It was purchased by Todd's grandfather back in the 1950s, but its roots go back to 1913, when a New Englander named Walter Farmer planted the very first apple trees. Farmer raised chickens in these coops while he waited 7 years for the trees to mature and bear fruit.
These trees that you see here were part of the original planting back in 1913. So 100 years and still, as you can see, like a pretty incredible crop.
That's a nice crop in here. Look at the size of those apples.
Though Todd and his dad Peter grew up here, both spent years away from the farm. Peter in business, Todd as a filmmaker. But something drew them back to a lifestyle they missed more than they knew.
My wife and I thought about it and said, that's not a bad way to bring up a family. It's not a bad way to live a life. Being outdoors and doing what you want to do and feeding the world with apples.
I live in the house that my grandparents lived in, and I like that connection to the history. And it gives you a sense of place, and it's pretty cool.
10? Yeah. What at 25?
Continuing the agricultural tradition of Applecrest Farms means adopting new strategies and finding ways to profit beyond simply growing apples. The Wagners still produce thousands of bushels for retail sale, but actually reduced the size of the orchards, replanting many acres with 24 different kinds of fruits and vegetables. In addition, it meant growing their agritourism business. Things like their fall festival, which provides a steady source of revenue unaffected by uncertain commodity prices.
I can't imagine my grandfather or grandmother could have ever have imagined back then. Those festivals are really what keep us afloat.
Like most pick-it-yourself farms, Applecrest has some food favorites that draw folks back every year. Cider donuts made fresh daily, homemade ice cream, fresh apple cider, and oh, those apple pies.
I think it's just like a second home to me. Yeah, I've been here forever.
Meet Evelyn Tuttle and Gertrude Eaton. The sisters haven't really been here forever, just 60 years for Evelyn and 45 for Gertrude. Talk about roots. Their dad was Walter Farmer, the original owner who planted the farm's first apple tree. Every fall for the last quarter century, Gert and Evelyn have baked close to 500 pies each weekend, close to 200,000 in all. So what's it like working with your sister day in and day out all these years?
Oh, fine. I mean, we don't fight. Once in a while we do, but not very often.
So do you eat pie at home?
No. Probably we should say yes.
Gert and Evelyn, it's incredible what they do. They're intricately entwined into the fabric of this farm and this land, and they give their heart and soul to this place.
Good job.
Such loyalty and longevity aren't hard to find here on the farm.
Yeah, Chris has been, this is year 6?
6th year, yeah.
As the Wagners celebrate their farm's centennial, they cherish their own family bonds and celebrate traditions they help other families create.
We have a couple of people who have been engaged, they were married here, and now they bring their kids here.
We've got grandmothers with their kids and their kids. We've had 4 generations before.
And they all say thank you. They say thank you for still being here. Thank you so much. And that's our intention. That's what, I mean, we want to be here. We want to be here forever, and that's, it's a hard thing to say. Forever is a long time, but that's, we want this farm to keep on going.
Want to learn a new word? The science of growing apples is called pomology. The bright red fruit is fat-free, sodium-free, and cholesterol-free, with a medium apple weighing in at only 80 calories. And did you know that apples are a member of the rose family?
Hi, I'm Jason Schultz. Still ahead, I'll introduce you to an Alabama farmer who's diversifying his business to stay alive when times are tough.
I'm Rob Stewart, and still ahead on America's Heartland, we'll take you to Arkansas, where one farm family is racing the clock to bring in their crop of soybeans.
Do you know your beans? Pinto, black, refried, green beans, kidney beans. You'll find them canned, dried, even frozen in your grocery aisle. But what are the differences? Where are they grown, and how do they stack up nutritionally? There are tens of thousands of varieties of beans, but you won't find all of them at your local store. But depending on your dish, there's likely a bean to suit your needs. Mexican food, try black, pinto, or refried beans. Most refried beans that you'll find in cans come from pinto beans. And the re doesn't mean that they're fried twice. It comes from the Spanish prefix re, meaning well, or well fried. Green beans are mainly grown in Wisconsin, western New York, and Oregon, and can be canned, frozen, or fresh. And they're rich in fiber and vitamin A. And some bad news for all of you coffee aficionados who try to impress your friends by grinding your own beans. These aren't really beans. They're actually the pits or seeds inside the fruit of the coffee plant. They're called beans because, well, they look like beans.
Autumn means harvest time for the majority of American farmers. It is a huge process that can involve the entire family, even the entire community of people making their living off of the land. Well, we found a family in Arkansas bringing in thousands of acres of soybeans. It is non-stop action until the crop is in. Look in any direction on this central Arkansas farm, and it's soybeans as far as the eye can see. From sunup to sundown, huge combines comb these fields, cutting the beans from the ground. Let's give you a view that you may never have seen before, inside the giant equipment hauling in the harvest of one of the most versatile crops in the world. Quarterbacking this soybean harvest team is Dow Brantley. Dow and his dad are partners at Brantley Farms. It's a big operation, growing more than 9,000 acres of crops each year. Dow, we really came at the perfect time, harvest in full swing, and here you see the soybean in the process of drying. These are almost there and these are ready to go. What did it take to get this plant to this level?
You know, it's a lot of hard work, and this year, because of the situation of the drought, a lot of irrigation to make this crop, to make these beans. On top of that, we're working very hard to keep the weeds out of it and insects as well. We're around 7 days a week to harvest.
So it's not just plant and pick?
No. I wish it were that easy, but no, there is a lot to see about these crops to get the high yields that we want to achieve.
Once harvested, the Brantley's beans are crushed and turned into oil or meal. More than half of the soybeans produced in Arkansas are shipped down the Mississippi River and exported worldwide through the Port of New Orleans. Dow's career path took him off the farm for a time, acquiring technology skills he was able to apply to the family business on his return. Today, those computer programs, equipment enhancements, and crop monitoring systems have improved yields.
Dow brought skills that we really needed. We had opportunity, we had land we could produce. We'd been doing it. Could we take it and move it forward? We could with technology, with knowledge.
Moving forward meant more than doubling the 4,000 acres his dad was then planting. Today, the Brantleys raise soybeans, rice, corn, and cotton on land that stretches their farm more than 20 miles. The Brantleys crop duster took us high in the sky to overlook their expansive operation. Technology plays a key role here, even to managing the aerial spraying on the Brantleys cotton crop. Computerized applications target specific rows, reducing the amount of chemicals needed. Dow says it's all a matter of being efficient and effective.
Anywhere from a guidance on the tractor or combine to computer programs in our office to help us keep up with input cost, who sprayed what field, things of that nature.
Juggling harvest time on this September day means going from one crop to another. Their cotton is picked and rolled into these modules and sent straight to the mill. Their grains stored in a state-of-the-art silo system. Dow and his dad can oversee all of their harvesting from the fields or from their home office with computers and GPS monitoring. Dow says technology like this is expensive, but pays off in lower cost for consumers.
It allows us to keep an affordable food and fiber supply here in the U.S., keep those prices low. Our job is to produce at the lowest cost that we can, and we do.
But make no mistake, what really holds this farm together is family. A bond between father and son rooted in the land they love.
It's a noble. I'm into the farming thing and the family farm. That's very precious to me.
I enjoy every minute of it, working with family members, and I hope he continues to be here for a long time. So we're both having fun together. We truly are. We're blessed to have some good land. We're blessed to have some very good employees, and without them, we wouldn't be where we are today.
You'll understand why soybeans are called the miracle bean when I tell you that soybeans are used in animal feed, hundreds of food and household products, ink, plastics, wood adhesives, and candles. More soybeans are grown in the U.S. than anywhere else in the world. And one more fun fact, 1 acre of soybeans can produce 82,000 crayons.
Hang in there. That's what we say to folks when they're going through tough times. But if you're in business and you're facing a downturn, hanging in there requires perseverance and ingenuity. And that's a truism one Alabama farmer knows all too well.
It's a gardenia, and what it is a dwarf gardenia, gets about 2 feet tall and spreads out about 4 feet.
Steve Thomas is the answer guy today at Green Hill Nursery in Auburn, Alabama. Outside with the plants and inside on the telephone.
That's the Black Knight. You want any of the White Profusion or any of the other bud layout?
But Steve admits running a garden center was not his life's dream. He set out to become a doctor like his grandfather.
I just didn't put the time in the books like I should have. So as a result, I wasn't accepted to any of the medical or dental schools that I applied to. And my girlfriend at the time said, "Why don't you try horticulture?" And I looked at her and I said, "Well, that's plants, isn't it?" And she said, "Well, yeah, that's plants." I said, "So what would you do with plants?" She said, "Well, you could open a garden center." How much you got? Looks like about 100 here. Yeah. All right, I'll help you move. When I went to ornamental horticulture school at Auburn University and got my master's, that's when I started actually enjoying plants and really started diving into my own landscapes.
Today, Steve has 10 acres of heirloom and ornamental plants for landscapes. During the housing boom in the early 2000s, sales really took off. But when the housing boom collapsed, his business took a direct hit.
The housing market's down, the economy is down. So with the housing market down, people aren't putting landscape plants necessarily around even new houses.
But after 25 years in business, quitting is not an option. So Steve is trying something new again.
Okay. Just like these, you can do just a light shearing in the fall.
Diversifying the business into landscape contracting with a slight twist.
We do almost no new landscapes. What we do is we clean up old landscapes. And we are in the process right now of trying to set up a division of this company that we're going to call Restoring Eden, because we think a lot of people love their landscapes when it first comes in. Then things happen, they don't get it kept up, you know, and they need help.
Besides reducing the number of plants that he grows, to deal with a downturn in business, he's also cut back on employees and not invested in new equipment. He's down to one part-time employee who you'll find filling pots by hand today.
I should have mechanized years ago. In '06, we were to the point where we were about ready to start more mechanization because life was good then, sales were good then, we were building, and that was definitely the direction we were headed next. And then everything fell off in '07. So we've got to get back to that point.
Those who make their living in agriculture recognize that constantly changing markets and conditions are a reality of life. Steve believes that a positive attitude is critical to helping find success in the future.
Being in the business 25 years, hopefully most people in the Southeast know me, but that still requires that I'm on the phone constantly. I email every week to all my regular customers, and I'm always trying to find new people to email to, and I'm not ready to let go of it yet. And if I'm not ready to let go of it yet, I can't give up.
That's going to do it for us this time. Thanks for traveling the country with us as we introduce you to such interesting people and places in America's heartland.
And don't forget, you can stay in touch with us 24/7. We make it easy for you. You can find us on some of your favorite sites. You can also find all of our stories and video on our website, americasheartland.org. We'll see you next time right here on America's Heartland.
You can purchase a DVD or Blu-ray copy of this program. Here's the cost. To order, just visit us online or call 888-814-3923.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand in America's heartland, living close to the land.
America's Heartland is made possible by the United Soybean Board, whose Common Ground program creates conversations to help consumers get the facts about farming and food. There's more at findourcommonground.com. The American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture, dedicated to building greater awareness and understanding of agriculture through education and engagement. More information at agfoundation.org. Farm Credit, financing agriculture and rural America since 1916. Farm Credit is cooperatively owned by America's farmers and ranchers. Learn more at farmcredit.com. The Fund for Agriculture Education, a fund created by KVIE to support America's Heartland programming. Contributors include the following: